are rebound, you walk, shoot the air, woo. Jump in your boats till your boats turn over, knockers, woo. You get ugly. Grandma said that God don't like the ugly. Grandma said she'll wash your face because it's muddy. You not worthy of the salty water. Your scars are crusty from your clown scalp stitches. Now you septic, ABOD, and they wishes. Bloody septic, able, rich, and all the ending types. Grandma said y'all need some cleansing, though. Right. But God's love and light is also for the copper and bronze type, right? You walk, till little and the end boys. They be speaking ancient slurs. When grandma come around, grandma says she taking heads with a spirit. You are rebound, you walk. They be speaking ancient slurs. When grandma come around, grandma says she taking heads with a spirit. You are rebound, you walk, shoot the air. Woo! Jump in your boats till your boats turn over, not the road. You get it ugly. Grandma said that God don't like the ugly. Grandma said she'll wash your face because it's muddy. You not worthy of the salty water. Your scars are crusty from your clown scalp stitches. Now you septic, ABOD, and they riches. Bloody septic, able, rich, and all the types. Grandma said y'all need some cleansing, dope. Right, but God's love and light is also for the copper and bronze type, right? You walk, till little in the end boys. They be speaking ancient slurs. When grandma come around, grandma says she taking heads with a spirit. You are rebound, you gotta come around. Baby speaking ancient slurs when grandma come around. Grandma says she taking heads with a spirit. You around, you up, shoot there. Oh. Jump in your boats till your boats turn over, now you getting ugly. Grandma said that God don't like the ugly. Grandma said she'll wash your face because it's muddy. You not worthy of the salty water. Your scars are crusty from your clown scalp stitches. Now you septic, WOD, and they witches. Bloody septic, elbow ridged, and all the ended types. Grandma said y'all need some cleansing, though. Right. But God's love and light is also for the copper and bronze type, right?
Look, I got a special guest for y'all today. Greater light. So I may not have permission. It might get all the way totally shut down. I don't know. Since the algorithm pushed him in my direction, the real Mr. Smith, huh? It don't sound like he talking to Drake them to me. I don't care what nobody say. That diss don't sound like he talking to Drake, and he still be putting out hits. Huh? What do you do when you find out that the dog is a cat? Huh? Let me tell Baby something. Baby. Hey, Baby. Huh? You must be the one, huh? Hey, Baby. Mr. George Washington Carver Jr. Hey, baby, the real Mr. Smith, please stand up. It sounds like he putting out hits. You still putting out hits? I thought, I forgot. That's right. Baby's put out hits. They's the real trigger men. Hey there, Mr. Smith. I'm talking about the real Mr. Smith, though, right now. Just you stay for a little bit if you want, if you choose to. Because I'm really for to talk about the real Mr. Smith for a second. Huh? Most definitely. Huh? Anybody that knows when it comes to my rappers and my favorites, huh? As much as I love DMX, nothing topped Most Def. Huh? Now him with that baby name, I'm listening to this diss track, but the thing is, how come nobody else talking about it? It just seemed like it just popped all up in my algorithm. And when I listen to it, it don't sound like he talking about Drake or J. Cole or anybody else. And as much as he's saying yuck, it don't sound like he's saying yuck. He sound like he's saying yoke. Huh? Yuck. So, you know, I had to come on here. Because it just sounds like he putting out hits. What do you do when you find out that the dog, you know what? The thing about as peaceful as he looks, that violence that's deep within him, that angelic force, the demonic force that's deep within him, he will dope a man up. A man who's in recovery. He the type that would dope a man up. He'll make sure he say, look, oh, you gonna think you gonna challenge me? I don't have to do nothing. All I have to do is give you food you like. Here you go. Some cocoa cakes, But you don't even know you taking it. And when you sit down and try to shine in front of me while we sitting there, I will prepare a table before you in the presence of your enemies. That's what I gather from the real Mr. Smith. But let me just play a video so anybody, you know, that's coming over to know what I'm talking about. And if by any chance, no, I ain't even gonna say nothing else. Just let me play it. I'm gonna play it. This stream may get shut down because I'm using fair use because this was a freestyle and it's his voice. But the page that just posted it and nobody else posting it is a page that only has, 6 subscribers. That's why I feel like, do y'all know that Terrence Howard in 2010 did a virtual reality patent? He did a patent about virtual reality and algorithms and stuff. And they just kept trying to knock him out the box. He didn't have the funds for it. Or something like that, something that I heard. But anyways, I don't know. I just felt like I had to throw that in there. But somehow, again, I was thinking about the Smith name, but I wasn't thinking about Mos Def. I wasn't thinking about Yasin Bey. It's been a minute. It's been a minute. So here we go. Y'all ready? Tell me, does this really sound like he talking about Drake them? It don't to me. It doesn't to me. Especially after that, what I did yesterday, that message I sent out there yesterday. Hold up. But that's just me. You know, I have a way. I'll make everything about me. And it don't have nothing to do with me. Oh, Lord. They ain't going to let me play it. Look how they messing with they messing with my stream already. Already. Goodness. Let me get back over. Let's see. Let me try that again. All right. Let me get back over here. Let's see. The real Mr. Smith. Mos Def. You ready? I'm going to play this. I don't know. I might play it a couple of times. I ain't heard nothing fresh from you since Black Jesus. I ain't heard nothing fresh from you since Black Jesus. You know, it's kind of wrong how you did. What do you do when you find out that the dog is a cat, Just that, you know, I don't know why you did that, but hey, come on now, play. Share this tab instead. The Eve online experience, play for free. Was that a message too? That's a message too,
This game, you're not ready for it. Just incredible!
No!
What'd you say? They put you in the game?
No. See, that's what I'm saying. They messing with me.
Get it, baby.
They messing with my stuff.
Both have wings, but one has tentacles. Pleasure and peace are not identical. Both have wings, but one has tentacles. Pleasure and peace are not identical, but through a certain lens, they seem like twins. Frankenstein fantasized getaway glasses, staring in the.
Start over.
Both have wings, but one has tentacles. Pleasure and peace are not identical, but through a certain lens, they seem like twins. Frankenstein fantasized getaway glasses, staring in the void, shot and filling in the blank.
I don't need to be.
Both have wings, but one has
really don't need to
tentacles.
be
Pleasure
watching this.
and peace are not
I really don't need to
identical,
be
but through a
watching this
certain
right
lens,
now.
they seem like twins. Frankenstein fantasized getaway glasses, staring in the void, shot and filling in the blank. For the nearest house of worship, they pointed to the bank. They built this city on silliness and suffering. Sellers of your worst impulsiveness. Yuck. Yuck. Brother Bay, like Brother Jay said, yuck. Maintenance and empire, gladiator circus world. Greedy, seedy, and creepy. Corny, horny, and boring. Bougie, goofy, and moody. Foolish, ruthless, and clueless. Variations on a petty big three. A whole lot to look at, but not much to see. Pimps build a war machine. Pay to build, small land to steal, small crops to kill. Yuck, said the devil to the Senate. Send a memo to the minions how the slaves prepare dinner. Souls, burning up subscriptions, smoking on some niggas. Yuck, ain't this ignorance delicious? Said the devil's over dinner, screaming money is religion. They built this city of silliness and suffering. Bestsellers of your worst impulsiveness. Yuck. Yuck. Murder, murder, berserkers. Yuck. Maintenance of empire, gladiator circus world. Gossip and conflict, they like that. Illusions and rumors, they like that. Distraction and glamour, addiction and madness, aggressively passive, they like that. Hot slander and cold propaganda. Have confusion and massive abuse.
I know you ain't trying to come back to the rap game, because let me tell you something, Mr. Smith. Let me tell you something, Mr. Smith. Now, one of my first raps, that's over 30 years ago. That's the style. That's how you sound right now. Huh? You know you ain't no freestyler. Huh? Mr. Smith expressing himself on the mic. I used to love him, but I think I might make you love me more, because what I have in store will shake you and make you and break you and many more. Simply divine, the rhymes of mine. Hey, Mr. Smith, you sending a hit out on somebody. That's what it sounds like to me. It don't sound like you talking about Drake. Huh? Talking about one had wings. Well, we know that what's his name? Kendrick. Oh, yes. He's in that group of the best of the best. Kendrick do think he's fighting with demons. Huh? He got the red on one side and the white on the other. But Drake is nowhere near. I don't know what Drake is. Huh? I don't know what Drake is. Huh? And he don't have tentacles. Huh? It's tentacles that are calling him out. Huh? I don't see how Serena did it. Nah, I like his music, you know, but just he looked like he smelled funny. Let me listen to this one more time, and then I'm gonna get on the Biblia Innocentium. I just had to. And how come I don't see this nowhere else? Maybe because I don't have Instagram, huh? Or maybe because I really shut down my Facebook. I don't know, huh? Or maybe because this message just sound personal. Let me try one more time. Hold on. Hey, baby. Hey, baby.
Both have wings, but one has tentacles. Pleasure and peace are not identical, but through a certain lens, they seem like twins. Frankenstein fantasized getaway classes. Staring in the void, shouting, filling in the blank. For the nearest house of worship, they pointed to the bank. They built this city on silliness and suffering. Sellers of your worst impulsiveness. Yuck. Yuck. Brother Bay, like Brother Jay says, yuck. Maintenance and empire, gladiator circus world. Greedy, seedy, and creepy. Corny, horny, and boring. Bougie, goofy, and moody. Foolish, ruthless, and clueless. Variations on a petty big three. A whole lot to look at, but not much to see. Pimps build a war machine. Way to build. Small land to steal. Small crops to kill. Yuck. Said the devil to the Senate. Send a memo to the minions. How the slaves prepare dinner. Souls burning up some scriptures, smoking on some knickers. Yuck, ain't this ignorance delicious? Said the devil's over dinner, screaming money is religion. They built this city of silliness and suffering. Bestsellers of your worst impulsiveness. Yuck, yuck, murder, murder, berserkers. Yuck. Maintenance of empire, gladiator circus world, gossip and conflict, they like that. Illusions and rumors, they like that. Distraction and glamour, addiction and madness, aggressively passive, they like that. Hot slander and cold propaganda, have fusion and massive abuses. They built the city on suffering and silliness. The punchline is when you take the pump fake serious. Yuck. Yuck. Murder, murder, berserkers. Yuck. Psychopathic status quo, gladiator circus show.
All right, that's enough. That's enough.
This
That's enough. That's enough of that. Did I start off the proper way? Huh? Did I start off the proper way? My mind is God's mind. I'm always reflecting divine wisdom. The most divine wisdom and divine intelligence. My brain symbolizes the capacity to think wisely and spiritually. God's ideas unfold within my mind in perfect sequence. I'm always poised, balanced, serene, and calm because I know that God has provided the perfect solution to every single one of my needs before the foundations of everything on this plane, before the foundations of my mother's womb that he strategically wove just to fit this frame in, huh? You say amen. I say, God, you promise. God is going to keep his promise. Has anybody start stocking up on water? Stock up on some water because you're not going to be able to drink from that. Now, based on where I'm located, according to all the millions that they got to make sure that we getting good water and clean water from the Aquafina or the aquifer up under here, it should be no problem with water over here. But just in case, the water over here better be clean. All the millions that came in and y'all pronounced the cleanest water in the South. They just got pronounced the cleanest water in the South. So some of y'all may have to come to my house to get the water of life. You know, when I was talking about yesterday and I was saying Jesus is my mask. Now I'm saying Jesus is the water of life. Huh? He's my water of life, huh? Do you know what Jesus looks like to me? If I show you a picture of what Jesus looks like to me, I put it in a song. God is going to keep his promise. God is going to keep his promise. But let me play this song real quick, just so you can know what Jesus looked like to me. Huh? I remember a time when my daughter said, yeah, but at one point it was almost like you was saying you was Jesus. I said, you wasn't listening. Huh? You wasn't listening. God is going to keep his promise. Huh? Yeah, y'all ready? Here you go.
To a true knowledge according to the image of the one who created
Here you go.
The people who walk darkness will see a great light.
Come on now, play. Don't be all slow with
The
it.
light will shine on.
Big LS.
God's promise, promise,
Big
promise,
LS.
promise.
Get a light. That's Juan Smith. Do you really?
God's promise,
Louder
promise,
than words.
promise, promise. God's line is my line, my mind is light. I'm in always reflecting his light. Always I acknowledge, no ledge, no courage.
You don't preach to the choir.
Ooh, God, you promised that great day will come.
We're all the ones that are
Yes,
lost.
God, you promised that I
Wake
will
up.
see
Get over
my
here.
son. You promised that he is by your side, and nothing can separate this love inside. No masters, no doctors can prescribe ways in that calling.
Go forward a little
Only
bit.
his ways, all ancient debates can correct. He reflects the path I acknowledge.
Y'all see me and tell me what you think he's talking about. It's out. Now you
God's
been
promise,
long enough.
promise, promise, promise.
And I always make everything about me. Hold up. Wait a minute.
God's promise, 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 promise.
I got a way about that. I can make everything about me. But when I listen to that right there, it don't sound like he talking about Drake and J. Cole and Kendrick Lamar. I don't. It don't sound like that to me. I guess I'm just in that habit of making everything sound like it's about me. And you know, on that video, on that short that I did, and I put my yoke is easy because I don't hear York anymore. I hear yoke. So as he's saying yoke, yuck, yuck, I'm not hearing yuck. I'm hearing yoke. Huh? I don't know. Who knows? You know? God's promise. God promised that I'll see my son, huh? All right. That's enough. That's enough of me being mischievous. Being mischievous today. Let me go ahead and start reading some of this Biblia Innocentium. Where I left off yesterday, I left off with Abraham came from huh? Hey. I'm so tickled today. I'm so tickled. Every time, King Ellis, I get to, it looked like I'm not going to know where things come from. You know, my blessings overflow. I don't know what I would do. I keep telling you, I don't know what I would do if I was wealthy. I would never be wealthy because I'd just be like, here you go. Oh, just get it. Give it away. That commercial before I played that video said Eve for free. You know, when I met Mr. Smith, the one in the chat with you, huh? When I met that Mr. Smith, let me tell you what he said about me. He said, you know, he see me and stuff, but the reason why he really tried to talk to me because if he talked to anybody else, he know it would cost them. Love is free. Where you went, Mr. Smith? Get back over here, huh? He told me. He said, I just looked free. My yoke is easy, huh? And my burden is light. Light force. God. You see what I'm saying? That's why I'm so glad these legs has been closed so tightly, because that's what really made me really like him. Because I said, "No, you being that honest? Now that's real." That's real. 7 years still going strong. These gates, the gates, I closed the gates to the city. Testing. 1, 2, 3. Let me get on reading. Let me get this reading on. That's why I still, because of being that blunt and honest. That's all I love. The truth will set you and keep you free. The truth will keep you free. Ooh, the destroying angel. I want to skip some of these chapters. How the lion's den is all the way to the end of the book. Ooh, boy. You know what? Let me do it the way I'm supposed to do it. Let me start at the end of the book. That's what I'm going to do. Start at the last chapter. Should I do that? The king's elephant. The man in the golden... Nah, yeah. No. I don't... Boy. Some of these titles look so enticing. The Tower of Thisbe. Started. The grandchildren. Third journey to Egypt. Mary and Joseph. The angel by the river. Ooh, Jacob's ladder. Yeah, let me keep on. Let me go in order. I mean, in their order, the way they have it ordered. All right. Am I sharing the screen? Let's see. There we go. You don't have to look at my face while I'm reading. I'll be making some goofy faces when I get distracted. I got the Federal Register opened up here, but I don't need to really focus on their security zones and the next bridge that they're about to destroy and something that's going to go on in South Carolina and all that. All that stuff already written. And I don't feel like dealing with that today. I don't feel like dealing with that. The stars sang together. I want to read out of some type of Bible. The Garden of Eden, the serpent in paradise, the children of Lamech. I left off with Noah, right? Nope, I left off with Abraham. The world after the flood. And I went here, and then I went and did a research of where is. The city of peace. Okay, yeah, I got here where Abraham returned, and Melchizedek, a king of Salem, went out to the city of his city of peace. That's the promised land. Let me see. Answer, Lord God, how shall I know I shall inherit it? To your children I will give the well in the wilderness. Okay, this is where I'm at. Now I need to make sure I start writing the chapters down where I end off at. All right, sit back and relax. If you want to listen to me read, you don't have to. You can go on Internet Archives and check it out for yourself. It's just finding something entertaining to do. before the training tomorrow. The well in the wilderness. While Abraham and Sarah, his wife, still had no child and were waiting for the promise of God to come, there was an Egyptian maid called Hagar in the household who was going to have a child. And because of this, she despised her mistress. And Sarah then treated her so harshly that she ran away into the wilderness. As she sat by the roadside well in the wilderness, an angel of God appeared to her and said to her, "Return and submit yourself to Sarah, your mistress. For you shall have a son who will grow up to be a wild man living in the east, and 12 princesses and a great nation shall descend from him." Wait, is that the same way they tell the story in the Bible? That the Sarah, her children, and 12 princesses and a great nation will descend from him? Okay. Not Sarah, Hagar. Okay. All right. I'm just saying, okay. For you shall, I have a video that I covered this, and I told it the way that I read it from King James Version. And then when Jesus spoke of this story, he let the Orthodox Jews know how it was Sarah. Sarah was free. Even Sarah is the one that was the slave. And Hagar was the free one. I would have to go back and find that video and compare it to this. Wait, what was it under? Was it Jesus? It should be Matthew. Let me see. I probably got it highlighted. Let me see. This is the time that I wish I would take notes. Jesus warns against the religious leaders. King David. This was a time that he was cased up, and he mentioned Sarah and Abraham to them. Give me a second. I know I'm going to find it. He challenges the leaders. It would be, let me go to Matthew. I find it better in Matthew, just where I got everything highlighted. Single coming. Judean hills. Signal your return. Pharisees, you hypocrites. Ooh, this when he was going in. You hypocrites. You hypocrites. He was calling them hypocrites. I should count how many times he called them hypocrites. Jesus. Master. You hypocrites. There you go again. Boy, he kept calling them hypocrites. He's talking about them paying tax. Abraham, right here. Right here. It's Matthew 22. Seas and Sadducees. And the scriptures, do you realize God is speaking directly to you? I am the God of Abraham. They're going to know ignorance. Landowner challenges Jesus' authority. My bad. I shouldn't be doing this like this. See, look, I have it folded here. King David. I'm going to write that down. I'm going to come back with it later, or I'm going to find that video where I was talking about it. I got so many videos. My goodness. I got so many videos. I can't believe I'm actually sitting here going through this just to show y'all what I was talking about. I could now see, wouldn't it be easier for me just to ask artificial intelligence? I done threw artificial intelligence to the side. Let me ask artificial intelligence. I got so much boggled up in my mind. Here we go. It's a little bit easier. Do it like this. Hey, baby. Stop responding. Which scripture did Jesus mention Sarah and Hagar? Here we go. It's about to come up. I should have did that initially. Okay, it's Paul that mentions, and it's in Galatians. Genesis, it's the difference living under the law. Okay, so it's in Galatians. It's not Jesus that mentioned them. It's Paul. It's Paul. Now, y'all know I don't agree with everything with Paul, and it's Galatians 4:21-31. Okay, 4:21. Okay, so he says here, listen to me, you friends who think you have to obey Jewish laws to be saved. Why don't you find out what those laws really mean? For it is written that Abraham had two sons, one from his slave wife and one from his freeborn wife. Okay? There was nothing unusual about the birth of the slave's wife baby, but the baby of the freeborn wife was born only after God had especially promised he would come. Now, this true story, he says, he makes sure it says it's a true story, is an illustration of God's two ways of helping people. One way by giving them his laws to obey. He did this on Mount Sinai when he gave the 10 Commandments to Moses. Mount Sinai, by the way, is called Mount Hagar by the Arabs. In an illustration of Abraham's slave wife represents Jerusalem. Listen, Abraham's slave wife, Hagar, represents Jerusalem, the mother city of the Jews. Abraham's slave wife represents Jerusalem, the mother city of the Jews. The center of that system trying to please God by trying to obey the commandments. And the Jews who try to follow that system are her slave children. But our mother city is the heavenly Jerusalem, and she is not a slave to Jewish laws. This is what Isaiah meant when he prophesied. Now you can rejoice, O childless woman. You can shout with joy that though you never before had a child. For I am going to give you many children, more children than the slave wife has. And I, dear brothers, are the children of that God promised, just as Isaac was. And so if you were born of the Holy Spirit, a person, and so we who are born of the Holy Spirit are persecuted now by those who want us to keep the Jewish laws. Just as Isaac, the child of promise, was persecuted by Ishmael, the slave wife's son. But the scriptures say God told Abraham to send away the slave wife and her son, for the slave wife's son could not inherit Abraham's home and lands along with the free woman's son. Dear brothers, we are not slave children obligated to the Jewish laws, but children of the free woman acceptable to God because of our faith. Now, think of what he's saying. When I read this, this is how I hear it, and this is the way I see it. The slave wife was told to leave. She was set free. Even after she had the child, she was set free. She had to leave. So she was no longer a slave. Even when God appeared to her, God told her to go back. She was free. So now Abraham and Sarah was the bound one. She is the one that ended up being the slave. But that's just the way I perceive it. And this is the way it sounds to me. Because if you locked up, hey there, Latrell Tinwell, Greater Light. If you're locked up, I just came back over here to, and I'm not supposed to be at Federal Register. I'm supposed to be on this right here. If you're locked up and they open up the gates and tell you to go, you're not locked up anymore. You're free. So the slave wife wasn't a slave anymore. And Abraham and Sarah had to keep the Jewish laws. But the promise that was given to what they have written as the slave wife, see the promise they have written to her? Not the slave wife, but Hagar, who was the slave, who once she was set free was not a slave anymore. So which one was the slave? Anyways, let me go ahead and continue reading. All right. As she sat by the roadside well in the wilderness, an angel of God appeared to her and said, "Return and submit yourself to Sarah, your mistress. For you shall have a son who will grow up to be a wild man living in the east. And 12 princesses and a great nation shall descend from him." Then Hagar returned out of the wilderness, and soon afterwards she had a son who was called Ishmael. But that well in the wilderness was called thence the well of the sight of the living one. So the Abraham, Sarah with her nastiness, set the slave free. She was free. And the place where she sat, where God spoke to her, it was called the sight of the living one. For Hagar said, "Do I still live after seeing God?" She asked, after seeing God, does she still live? Yeah, because she already had a direct divine connection with God. The ones who didn't have a direct connection with God, had to have mediums to communicate with him, like Abraham. Here we go again. Every time I say it, I don't know if it clicks with anyone. Abraham, in order to have some direct communication with God, he had to speak. It was Melchizedek that gave him a message. God didn't talk to him directly. The messages always had to come through a medium. Even or an angel would bring them a message. But directly, no. But though you'll see throughout the Bible, you'll know the beings who had a direct connection, connected directly to the ether. Not now, God's love and light is for everybody, anyone who accepts it, and they would have to use a medium. That's where mediums came into the play, like a church and a temple. When God directed the light beings, not the ones created from the land, he commanded them, don't you dare build no trees next to an altar. Don't build no altar. You don't do all that. But those who didn't have or don't have a direct connect need a medium. Anyways, do I still live after seeing God? The visit of the three angels. It was in the heat of the day, and Abraham was sitting in the door of his tent under the great oak on a plain of Mamre. When he looked up and saw three strangers coming on foot across the plain. Oh, let me go back to Sarah. Let me go back. Let me go back. See right here where it says, Sarah, he says, return and submit yourself to your mistress, for you shall have a son who will grow up to be a wild man living in the east, meaning they was living in the west. Same thing when you go back to Babylon. When the ark settled, it settled here on this land. This is where you get after the flood to know where things settled. So even though it says that, what's his name, was born or from when it goes to where they traveled and where they settled, obviously they weren't in the east anymore. A visit of the three angels. It was in the heat of the day, and Abraham was sitting in the door of his tent under the great oak on a plain of Mamre. When he looked up and saw three strangers coming on the foot across the plain. Now I keep repeating oak because oaks is a predominantly American grown tree. The oaks grow on this side of the plain, especially in the southern plains. So they have all types of variety of oak. But let me ask, what's her name? What country, which continent is dominated by oak? Here we go. Let's see what she says. There we go. So here's another where I say that my grandmother said, well, we didn't come over off boats. We were always here. And I could take her word for it based on scripture and things that they say in scripture. I don't have to go and to some history written outside of I can, and over years of research, but just off of this commerce, scientific, physics, historical book right here. I can get the information from here. So Abraham was sitting in the door of his tent under a great oak. And here, co-pilot says, oak trees are especially prominent in the Americas. Approximately 60% of all Quercus species live here, making them the single most important group of trees in the North American forests. These remarkable trees have evolved over 56 million years, diversifying into roughly 435 species found today on 5 continents, ranging from Canada to Colombia and from Norway to Borneo. Oaks have played a crucial role as keystone species, fostering biodiversity, cleaning the air, shaping human culture, and all the other things that happens with a great oak. So here in this town, where when they finished dirtying up the water that they got planned in the Federal Register, not only is this the heart of the great oak, but it's also the only place in the United States that supposedly right now was the only city funded to have the cleanest water in the United States. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. There's a reason for everything. There's a reason why I'm here. So Mama Ray, he was in the plane of Mama Ray when he looked up and saw 3 strangers coming on foot across the plain. He arose from the tent door and ran to meet them and welcomed them courteously, asking them to stay and rest under the tree, eat a morsel of bread before they went on their way. So they stopped and they sat down in the cool of the tent, and Sarah baked cakes upon the hearth. And Abraham chose a calf from the herd and had it dressed and bought butter and milk and stood by the strangers while they sat and ate under the tree. Now, these 3 strangers were angels, but Abraham did not know it. When the heat of the day was over, they rose up and set their faces towards Sodom. And Abraham went with them to bring them on their way. Now this is a point in history of the Bible where you see that the angels now don't look scary at this point. They said done taken on a new form where now when a man sees an angel, they can't distinguish whether they're an angel or not. So according to after the flood, the new form that angels took on, now they have skin. And I think I caught your message in that video that you did, Latrell Tinwell, if you still, whoever's still over here with me. And I heard Biggie talking about now he putting on skin. That's all that I gathered out of that what you call it, that video, the skin. as many times as I've heard that song, because that used to be one of my daughter's favorite songs. And party and party. That used to be one of her favorite songs. As a matter of fact, I didn't even know that song until she started playing it, because I wasn't really a Biggie fan. I wasn't a Biggie Puff Daddy them fan. Only a few songs from Little Kim. I really didn't, their music was okay, but I wasn't really into them like that. So when I heard or listened to that video that you played, that's what I pulled out of there, the skin part. I was like, wait, oh, okay. But anyway, so now they have a certain way that they look that a man can't tell or determine whether they are angels or not. So now these three strangers were angels, but Abraham didn't know it. When the heat of the day was over, they rose up and set their faces towards Sodom. And Abraham went with them to bring them on their way. As they went, one of the three strangers stopped him and said, "The cry of Sodom and Gomorrah is great, and their sin is very grievous. I am going now to see whether they have done all together according to the cry which has come to me. If not, I will know." Meanwhile, the other two had turned away and gone toward Sodom. Then Abraham knew that he was a great angel and drew near and said, "Will thou also destroy the righteous with the wicked? Perhaps there are 50 righteous men within the city. Will thou spare the place for the 50 righteous that are therein?" The sun was going down, and the angel answered, "If I find in Sodom 50 righteous within the city, then I will spare the place for their sake." So this wasn't Abraham speaking to God to save the city. So God wasn't the one that destroyed the city. When every time they talk about the angels was going around, whoring around and all, every time I look, I see something like this that confirms that the angels were living holy, and they were going around killing those that weren't living holy, and it wasn't God doing it. So one of the angels, it doesn't say that God said, one of the angels said to Abraham, "Yeah, I'm going to destroy the city. If I find," and then Abraham said, "I have taken upon me to speak unto my Lord. I who am but dust and ashes." Now, see, he knows that it's a difference between the light beings that were created and his kind. Perhaps there may lack 5 of the 50 righteous. Wilt thou destroy the city for lack of 5? He said, "If I find there are 40 and 5, I will not destroy it." The sun sank a little low, and Abraham spoke again. "Perhaps there shall be only 40 found there." And the angels answered, "I will not do it for 40's sake." Then he said, he kept on counting, "Oh, let not my Lord be angry, and I will speak. Perhaps there shall be but 30 found in it." And the angel answered, I will not do it if I find 30 there." Then he said once more, "Behold, now I have taken upon me to speak to my Lord. Perhaps there shall be 20 found there." And the angel said, "I will not destroy it for 20's sake." Then at the last time, Abraham said, "Oh, let not my Lord be angry, and I will speak yet but once more. Perhaps 10 shall be found there." And the angel answered, "I will not destroy it if it's for 10's sake." And as the sun set, he passed out of sight. and Abraham returned home. A riot. Oh, there go to riot. They was having a riot in Sodom. At dusk that same evening, the two angels came to Sodom, and there Lot sat in the city gate. Now remember who Lot is. Lot is Abraham's brother. So that's why Abraham was pleading, because Abraham knew that almost all of those individuals in that city was his family. Right? Right. Lot had went off, and he had his children, had children, and all those in that city was his family. That's why he was pleading so much. Like, look now, I don't destroy all my family. He rose up to meet them and bowed to the ground and prayed them to stay the night in his house. They accused themselves at first and said, "We will lodge in the street, but will take no refusal." So they went home with him, and he made them a feast. But late at night, before they lay down to rest, the whole mob of Sodom, old and young men, came around the house and shouted to Lot, "Where those men you got in there, huh? Who came here tonight? Bring them out, Lot." Lot went out, shutting the door behind him, and tried to pacify the people, but they refused to listen, crying, "Stand back, and this fellow is a stranger here, and he will needs play the judge," and threatening to make it worse for him than for the strangers. And at last they made a rush at the door and break it open. Then the two angels coming to the door pulled Lot in and shut the door again behind him, and struck all the people outside with blindness. So that, what kind of laser force did they use? How they struck all the people with blindness, and must have been a eclipse, and went about till they were weary and could not find the door, but raged vainly in the street all night. So now they not only trying to get the booty of the angels while they was riding, now they blind and doing it. They still out there trying to get to the angels while they blind. Oh goodness. Then the angel said to Lot, "Have you any here besides? If so, bring them out of this place, for the cry of Sodom has grown great before the face of God, and he has sent us to destroy it." See how they always line on God. As many times as I heard this story, now I've read for myself, so I know I'm just talking to you as if I was like talking to my grandchildren. That you'll hear, God destroyed Sodom and Gomorrah. God didn't do it. God sent angels to do it. Lot had a wife and two daughters at home. The two other daughters who were married and lived in town. He went to their houses and woke them in the night, that they may fly with him. But they would not believe he was in earnest. So the rest of the night was soon gone. And at the break of dawn, the angels hastened him and bade him to be gone at once. And he was. And while he was still lingered, they took him and his wife and his two daughters by the hand and dragged them out of the town. And there bade him escape for his life, and not look behind him or stand still in all the plain, but hasten to the mountain, lest he would be swept away. So this sounds like nuclear bomb was about to hit. Lot said, "Oh, not so, my lord. We cannot reach the mountain before the destruction overtake us. But yonder, close by this city of Zoar, and it is a very little one. We may escape to it and live." So now Lot moves to Zoar. Okay, so there's there's Zoar, and let me go back. There is 1 second. Give me 1 second. I'm going through, scanning through real quick. Mistress Sarah Hagar return sight of the living one. Trying to about that well, sight of the living one. Mamre. Okay. All right. Okay, right, page 27. And then rain and fire fell from heaven upon Sodom and Gomorrah and overthrew the cities and destroyed the whole land, so that there was not a soul, a live soul, nor green blade left in all the plain. Now, it's only one time in history where they speak of a whole slew of people leaving the earth at one time. And that is the story of the Mayans. Like, they just completely disappeared. You don't see that type of connection anywhere else on earth after the flood except for the Mayans. Those set of Mayans. Am I right or wrong? If anyone else can find a certain place or particular point in history where after the flood, a whole set of people just disappeared. We ain't talking about Pompeii. Pompeii, we know they all got put up under the witch-collar, under the volcano. We know of all types of certain disasters written through history, but not a point where people just disappeared. There's no trace of the people, not by war. It says that the Mayans just disappeared. They didn't just disappear. This is that point that confirms that Egypt was over here after the flood, and everything else. Aserat is over here after the flood. I may be wrong, but as far as my research goes, there's no other event in history that speaks and mentions people just disappearing, just seem like they just gone, except for this story of the Mayans over here on this land. But let me continue. So then the rain of fire fell from heaven upon Sodom and Gomorrah and overthrew the cities and destroyed the whole land, so that there was not a live soul nor a green blade left in all the plain. Lot's wife neglected the angel's warning and lingered outside Zorah and looked behind her at Sodom. And she was caught in the rain of fire and turned into a pillar of salt. When Abraham rose that morning and they looked from his tent towards the land of the plain, he saw smoke of the country going up like a smoke of furnace. Now, there's what you call it? Something in Mexico recently where some archaeologists or something they was doing, some guys dressed in military clothes, under the root of a tree, some type of carving. It looked like a carving of a lady that's frozen in time. That just came up the other day. I'm serious. Just the other day, I didn't think much of it. I just looked at the thing and I said, anybody could have did that carving up under the tree. They could have did it and then called the news. People say, look what we found. Because, they're very artistic and they can work fast. You could get a house and a pool and stuff, and you've seen it online, built by Mexico in a less than a day. Down there in South America, they show plenty of videos. So when I looked at that media clipping, when I looked at that media clipping, I said, they always coming up with something. But let me see if I can find it. Let me see if I can find it. Because it was just, hold up. And it just looked like a lady frozen in time. Let me see. That might be the very proof. Where did I see that at? Goodness. I know it was a news article. Let me put men find carving. Let's see. I should put ancient. It didn't look ancient to me. And was it over here? I think it was over here. I don't know. Like I said, I didn't really think much of it. News. It should be a recent news, though. Let me click news. Oh, goodness. Okay, ready. News. Man picks up sharp stone and finds 5,600-year-old artifact in Poland. Man stumbles an ancient Roman 13,000. Italian police say archaeologists statue of a giant clutching. Oh my goodness. Dog, it's not coming up. All kind of stuff coming up. Colosseum. See, that's probably why they ain't gonna let that one come up, because that one probably is a whole confirmation of something. So they showed me all kind of stuff that just came out recently, but this one was just the other day, and I said, oh wow, but the way it was, she was up under a tree and she was like in a pose like this, just like she was about to fall and she didn't fall. I'm serious. And they smiling. They look like Mexicans. I'm not being discriminatory or anything, but the particular phenotype, they look like South Americans or Mayans, or they just have that look. So anyways, I got to find that article to confirm it, because I'm not making it up. I promise you, it was just like 2 or 3 days ago. Okay, let me get back to reading. When Abraham rose in the morning and looked from his tent in the land of the plains, he saw smoke of the country going up like smoke of a furnace. A year after the visit of the 3 angels, Abraham and Sarah had a son born, whom they call Isaac. This one of your favorite stories right here, ain't it? By this time, Ishmael, the son of Hagar, boy, was about 14. And when Sarah saw him playing by the tents, she became jealous and said to Abraham, send away the slave woman and her son into the wilderness, for he shall not inherit along with a son of mine. So now here it is. Abraham was sorry to do this, but saw no help for it. Therefore, early in the morning, he rose and sent Hagar and her boy with some bread and a leather bottle of water, which she carried on her shoulder. They wandered in the wilderness till the bottle was empty, and they could find no more water and began to faint of thirst. At last, in despair, Hagar laid Ishmael under a bush and went and sat down about a bow shot off. There, they showing the arrows, bow shot off, that she might not see him die, and wept aloud. But God heard the crying of the boy, and the angel called to Hagar out of heaven, saying, do not fear, for your boy shall live, and a great nation come of him, and 12 princes who shall build castles and towns in all the waste country of the south. And then God opened her eyes, and she saw a well of water close by, where she filled her bottle and gave her boy drink. And he lived and grew up and became an archer in the wilderness. First bow. We went from the first blood to the first bow. Ooh-wah, ooh-wah, shoot the arrows, huh? Shoot the arrows. I'm going to stop for a second. I'll go get me some water, and then I'm going to come back. And as a matter of fact, I'm going to drink some of my aloe juice. Let me drink some of my aloe juice. Be right back.
Baby speaking ancient stuff when grandma come around. Grandma said she taking his with the spirit. You around, you up, shoot there. Oh, jump in your boats till your boats turn over. Navig's rule. You getting ugly. Grandma said that God don't like the ugly. Grandma said she'll wash your face because it's muddy. You not worthy of the salty water. Your scars are crusty from your clown scalp stitches. Now you septic of the OD and they witches bloody septic. Elbow bridged and all the end of types. Grandma said y'all need some cleansing though. Right. But God's love and light is also for the copper and bronze type. Right. You walk 10 little and they ain't boys. They be speaking ancient slurs when grandma come around. Grandma says she taking heads with the spirit. You all be down. You walk, shoot the arrow. Jump in your boats till your boats turn over. Noggins, woo. You getting ugly. Grandma said that God don't like the ugly. Grandma said she'll wash your face because it's muddy. You not worthy of the salty water. Your scars are crusty from your clown scalp stitches. Now you septic, ABOD and they witches bloody septic, ABOD and they ain't. Types. Grandma said y'all need some plants and
All right. Came back, got my little aloe. This one, I wanted to order the sweet one, but since I've been doing so good without sugar, you know them gallons of aloe juice. Here we go. I should squeeze some lemon in it. I don't know. Let's see. Oh, this one ain't so bad. Woo! Oh, that did that right there. It's not the sweet, them brands that you get out the gas station. It's not that. It's the ones that when you go in the pharmacy section at some of the grocery stores, and they come in a little jug with a handle like this, look like a gas tank handle. Come like that. That's my cleansing for the next 2 days. It don't taste as bad as when my mother used to make the aloe juice. That's what I need. I need to buy me some aloe plants. Yep, there you go. When I get off of here, I'm going to order me some aloe plants. Yes, sir. There we go. See, that little walk away would do. I believe if I wasn't sitting here reading this, that when they came to me. Let me order me some aloe plants. All right. All right. So he became a little Indian boy. The altar on the hilltop. God proved Abraham and said to him, take now your son, your only son, Isaac, who you love, and go to the land that I will show you and offer him there for a burnt offering upon the mountaintop. See, now this was God tested, because remember, she was the slave woman. Huh? Remember, she was the slave woman who had done came out of Egypt. She was the slave woman who had done came out of Egypt. And they was a different type of people, I keep telling you. And it was two types within their DNA code and everything. But here, God said, take your son, your only son whom you love, and go to the land that I will show you and offer him up there for a burnt offering upon the mountaintop. Now, for some reason, in my mind, I don't feel like this was God. I believe he wrote it down as it was God, but I don't believe it was God because God wasn't communicating with him directly. See, if you go back and go through different parts and points, he wasn't talking to him directly. He kept sending mediums. So I believe when this part of the story gets written, he says it but I truly, truly don't believe that it was a direct connect. God proved Abraham and said to him, take now your son, your only son Isaac, whom you love, and go to the land that I will show you and offer him there for a burnt offering upon the mountaintop. Early in the morning, Abraham rose and saddled his ass and rode away with Isaac and two servants. They went through the land, and for 3 days, and on the third day, Abraham saw far off a shining mountaintop and knew it for a place that God had told of him. He said to his men, stay here while I and the boy go yonder and worship, and we will come back again to you. So now he lied right there. See, that's why he could possibly have been lying about who said what he said to him, or not know who said what he said, because he was lying. See, God didn't say go up to the mountain and don't tell nobody what you're going to do. So he could have very well been honest with the men. He said, look, God told me to go, especially if God told him to do it. I'm just saying, if God told him to do it, and the way he worshiped God, wouldn't he have told the two men? Wouldn't he have told them, hey, look, give me a second, I done lost my page. How I get this far up? Oh boy, the grandchildren. Dinner at Joseph's house. I'm going to get good into this reading. How far am I? King Pharaoh's dreams, Potiphar's wife, Median Night, the coat of many colors. You know, that's one of my favorite stories. Angel by the river, flight from Haran. They took a flight from Haran. Uh-oh, that's where airplanes come into the story. Anger of Esau, savory meat. Mess of butter. I came to get this whole mess straight. Cave in the field. Okay. Back. So he said to his men, stay here a while I and the boy go yonder and worship, and we will come back again to you. So Abraham and Isaac left the two servants with the ass at the bottom of the mountain and began to climb up on foot. Isaac carrying the bundle of faggots and Abraham the fire. Then Isaac said, Father, here are the fire and wood, but there is a lamb. But where's the lamb for the burnt offering? Abraham answered, my son, God himself will provide the lamb. Now he lied to his son. See, if God said it, why he would lie to? He lied to his servant men. Then he lied to his son, and they went on together. When they came to the hilltop, Abraham built an altar there and laid the wood in order on it. And he bound Isaac and laid him on the altar. But as he took the knife in his hand, the angel called to him out of heaven, do not lay a hand on the boy to do him harm. Then Abraham looked up, and close behind him, he saw a ram caught by his horns in a thicket, which he took and offered up to God. And then he and Isaac went down the hill again and rode home. See, this is why I feel like, because if it was God that told him to do it, listen to the story now, where people always blaming God for something. But if it's God told him to do it, first off, he's not going to lie to anybody, not his son, nor the servants. He's like, God told me to do this, and I'm going to do it. And then the angel is the one that stopped him. If God told him to do it, why would the angel be the one to stop him from saying it, from doing it? Why would the angel be the one to stop him if God is the one that told him to do it? God would have been the one that told him, no, don't do it. That's why I feel like that part of the story, he was already lying. So when they rewrote this part of the story, Abraham, because remember, Abraham, based on Paul's recollection and historical documents, Abraham's story was a true story. Hagar's story is based on a true story. That's only one of the only times that you see in the Bible where they say this is based on a true story. So that's how I've always felt every time we had Bible study, me and my first husband. I was like, nah, because look at it. So now the angel stopped him from doing whatever voice he was hearing. And again, like I said, the way to prove, for me, my proof is that not at one point did God have a direct conversation with Abraham. He had particular set of beings that he would talk to directly, and other beings where he had a medium. They had to have mediums. They had to have either an angel talk to them, some type of medium. He'd speak to them through something else. So then Abraham looked up and Close behind him, he saw a ram caught by his horns in a thicket, which he took and offered up to God. Then he and Isaac went down the hill again and rode home. The cave in the field. Sarah fell ill and died in the city of Hebron, and Abraham mourned over her. See, now he done bought sickness and death with his lies. She was already a nasty woman. She was already a jealous woman. All those things that don't seem fitting for like a type of beings that would go and destroy a city of Sodom. Even the slave woman and all of that how they was treating her. It don't mention once that she was nasty. How they left her, they kicked her out of the wilderness to die. But they also set her free. So Sarah fell ill and died in the city of Hebron, and Abraham mourned over her. Then he stood up from before his dead and said to the sons of Heth, who lived in the city, I am a stranger among you. Give me a burying place that I may bury my dead out of my sight. The sons of Heth answered him, Hear us, my Lord. You are prince of God among us. And a prince of what God? Hear us, my Lord. You are a prince of God among us. Take the choice of our burying places and bury your dead here. Then Abraham stood up and bowed to the people of the land and said, Entreat for me then to Ephron, the son of Zohar, to sell me his field and cave called Machpelah, which he has in Hebron. I need to look that up. The etymology of it. Okay, well, the M-A-C, the Mac. Machiavelli. Okay. When he, Miss Mary Mac, it's a cave. So her sell me his field and cave called Machpelah, which he has in Hebron. Now, of course, in the new museum side, they would have these names over there. But what does that name mean when you break down etymology and the origin and the root of the word? And it would show up somewhere over here. Ephron stood up in the city gate and answered, My Lord, I give you the field and the cave. There are worth 400 pieces of silver, but what is that between you and me? Then Abraham weighed out a full price to Ephron there in the gate, 400 pieces of silver in good money. And so in the presence of all the people, the cave of Machpelah with the field and a row of trees planted round it were made sure to him in possession. And there he buried Sarah with great mourning. There he buried Sarah. So Sarah, they didn't have their own land anymore. Okay, and he buried Sarah in Machpelah. Give me a second. Okay, and Wow. Give me another minute. Give one more second. I'm looking up, researching this word. And I'm not looking on the museum side. Oh, wow. Okay. I just did the root and the etymology of Pella and also of Mac. And I'm going to have to do a little bit more research. The picture they give me of Mac, they give me this picture. I'm not making it up. I could screenshot it. It looked like the Starship Enterprise coming out of an egg. I'm going to put it in the thing right now. So anybody over here with me can see I'm not making this up. I just took the time to type that in. Right? Just because I wanted to see the etymology of the word and see how. And this is the picture it gives me. It tells me about numbers and all that, but I'm gonna let's put done. Okay, go to my YouTube. Go to
and peace are not identical, but through certain
go to boop, 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 boop. Add and cancel. I'm trying to get to post and picture. Oh no. Why I gotta go through all this hard work with them? Make things so difficult. Yeah, because I only got selected pictures here. So I'm gonna put it up later. But or you could go to your phone and do it. I put in Mac and it gave me a picture of the Starship Enterprise coming out of an egg. Now I got to put this up now. I love to do the community post while I'm live. So let me just change the settings. I was trying to avoid that. Change the settings from limited access. All right. Go in YouTube. Come on. Go down. And here we go. There it is. That's the picture that she gave me when I put Mac. And we know the Starship Enterprise is not green beans or any other type of beans. The Starship Enterprise is Captain Kirk. I'm just saying. If she showed me and I put Mac and it says that they asked to bury, Abraham asked to bury them in Machpelah, which he has in Hebron in the cave. And then she showed me a picture of Starship Enterprise coming out of the cave. We know that the captain of, which means the one who inherited the Starship Enterprise, there might have been other people that came on the land of Starship Enterprise, all other types of beings. But the main honky-dory Starship Enterprise was Captain Kirk. So I don't know if she's trying to say that's how Sarah looked, or that's proof. She trying to show me proof of the difference in the beings. But according to co-pilot, a picture of the egg of Starship Enterprise being the cave in the field is what she showed me when I typed in Mac. And Pella means different. A certain type. That's what it means. I'm just saying. And I think I'm going to end up here. There he buried Sarah with great mourning. And I say tomorrow I'm going to come. I'm going to come tomorrow with the camels at the well. You know what? I want to read the camels at the well right now. You know why? In this page 33. You know why? Because I told you it's only two type of animals or two type of beasts that carry the sickle bloodline. The sickle bloodline is camels and lions and cats. Camels and lions. So the breeds of camels, I guess, I don't know if giraffes would fall in that same breed. Llamas would fall in that same breed, but it's only two type of species of animals that carry the sickle cell. All right. So when Sarah was dead and Abraham was very old, he wished before he died to find a wife for his son Isaac among their own kindred. So there they go, kissing cousins. Kissing cousins. See, Abraham them did this on that side. You see there? So Abraham, he was looking for a wife for Isaac from their own kindred. He called his steward, Eliezer of Damascus, and said to him, go across the river to Haran. Go across the Mississippi River where my brother Nahor lives with his people. See, that's why he was trying to save Lot and all their cousins and stuff. Lot and his family had got so intermingled. You see what happened with them. So he goes to Nahor. Nahor lives with his people, and bring his wife for my son. Bring a wife for my son from there. For he must not marry among the daughters of the land where we dwell. So he knew that he was a stranger in the land that he was in. They were a different type of people. And that they wasn't supposed to mesh. For he must not marry among the daughters of the land where we dwell. Elijah said, what if the woman will not come? Shall Isaac go back? Hold up. to Haran and live there? Abraham answered, when God brought me to this land, he promised to give it to my children. Therefore, Isaac must not come back. But God will send his angel with you that you may... Oh, come on. Hold up. Therefore, Isaac must go back. But God will send his angel with you that you may bring a wife for my son to this land. So Elijah went on his journey with his servants and 10 camels and carrying rich presents with him. After traveling for many days, he came at evening to a little town where the women were drawing water at a well outside the wall. There he made his camels kneel down by the well and prayed to God to prosper his errand. As the words were in his mouth, a beautiful girl came out of the town gate with her water jar upon her shoulder and went down the well. When she had filled her jar and came up, he went to meet her and asked her for a drink of water. Drink, my lord, she said, and let her jar down in her hand to give him drink. And when he had drunk, she said, I will draw water for the camels too. So she emptied her jar into the trough and ran down again to the well and drew water till there was enough for all the camels. While they were drinking, Elijah opened up a package and took out 2 bracelets and a forehead jewel of gold, and put the bracelets on her arm and the jewel on her forehead, and asked her, fair maid, whose daughter are you? And is there room in your father's house for me to lodge? Yes, she said, we have corn and straw for the camels and room for you to lodge. I am Rebekah, the daughter of Bethuel, the son of Nahor. Then Elijah bowed down and blessed God because he had brought him straight to the house of his master's brethren. Rebekah ran home to tell the household and showed them the forehead jewel and the gold bracelets on her hand. Then her brother Laban hastened out to the well where Elijah stood by his camels and brought him to the house. He ungirthed his camels and shook out the straw for them and gave them fodder. Then they brought him indoors and set out food before him, but he would not eat till he had told his errand. So he told them how God had blessed Abraham and given him great riches, and how Sarah had borne him a son in his old age. I'm just saying. What was wrong with Isaac that Isaac couldn't get his own son? I mean, Isaac couldn't get him a woman. I'm just saying. Now that I look at that story, oh my God, would inherit all the land, and how Abraham would not take a wife for his son from the people of the land. Nah, the people of the land ain't one. Abraham would not take a wife for his son from the people of the land. He'll take their cave. He'll take their graves. What was it about Isaac? Let me keep reading. But he had sent to find one among his kindred across the river. And up this journey, he said, look, if it's a cousin, she wouldn't turn her back on you. And now he had to come to the well and prayed God to show him the woman whom he had appointed and how he had met Rebecca. And now he said, give me my answer. They answered, this is the very hand of God. Take Rebecca and let her be your master's son's wife. And that night they held a feast of betrothal. And Eliezer gave costly presents of gold and silver and stuffs to them all. The next morning, he said he must set off at once and go back to the master. They would fain have had Rebecca stay with them for a little while, 10 days at least. But when it was left to her to decide, she said, I will go now. And so they gave her their blessings and let her go, taking her nurse and her maidens with her. They crossed the river and traveled back to the south till one day that evening they came in sight of Abraham's tent. Isaac had gone out by the well of the sight of the living one and walked in the field alone, mourning for his mother. When he saw the line of camels coming back in the dusk, Rebecca asked Eliezer of Damascus, what man is this that walks in the field? And he looked and answered, it is my master's son. She alighted from her camel and covered her face with the veil. So she became Isaac's wife, and he loved her and was comforted for his mother's death. They pulled up to the city. All types of people in the city. But something had to be strange about him. For when she looked at him, she was like, who is that? And that's where covering and hiding the face came up at, huh? If she was with, because according to certain history, a woman is supposed to have her face covered, especially if she's with a man that it ain't even supposed to be her husband, if it ain't family. Right? Right. But they try to make it seem like Abraham and the descendant of Isaac and stuff was all so good, goody two-shoe and stuff, because as soon as she seen his face and she seen him, she covered her. What was it about Isaac that he couldn't find his own wife? Most of the stories, these men go out and they find their own wife. You see how this story go? First, Abraham lied, talking about he was supposed to kill his son. An angel came and stopped him. Something was wrong with his son. Something was wrong with Isaac. I'm just telling you, this is the way I see the story. This is my perception of the story. You can't tell me. Let me make a movie of this part of the story right here. And he was so, whatever wrong with him, he was waiting for God to talk to him. Because he went to the place where the slave was. Huh? Why he kept visiting that place? Because that's not where she was buried. He kept going to the well for the sight of the living one, huh? Isaac and Rebekah had 2 sons who were twins and no more children. And soon after that, she said, look, it's the first and the last time. Huh? And soon after they were born, Abraham died at a great age, an old man full of years, and they buried him in a cave among the trees in Hebron beside Sarah and his wife. After his death, God blessed Isaac with the blessing of Abraham, and he lived peacefully in the land of Canaan. See, this is where those set of Canaanites that I keep saying there's two different kinds. And here we go. The proof of the kind that come out sickly and something ain't right. They was kissing cousins. Incest, incestful. And all. And it says it right here. That's not me making it up. This is exactly the way the story goes. So when you sing in the song, Father Abraham has had many sons, yeah, but you have to know where your DNA lies. I'm just saying. After his death, God blessed Isaac with the blessing of Abraham, and he lived peacefully in the land of Canaan, going from one place to another, digging wells and pasturing his flocks and herds. Remember that Abraham was a stranger in this Canaanite land. And there's two set of people that came out of Canaan. There was the ones that he knew. Abraham knew that he was a stranger in that land. Abraham wasn't from the land, and it's not because they were sinful that he couldn't sleep with them. They wouldn't sleep with them. They were outcast in his land, and in their land, in the land of the giants and the holy ones. Remember, all of his people, for he prayed for his brother's people. Each one of their lands of Abraham's brothers was sinful and incestful. So the Mayans, even those particular Mayans and their crossbreedingness, I'm just saying that's what everything that I just read, I didn't take and add nothing. I read it just for the way it's being said. And it says all of this the same way in the King James Version. So after his death, God blessed Isaac with the blessings of Abraham, and he lived peacefully in the land of Canaan, going from one place to another, digging wells and pasturing his flocks and herds. And the elders of the twins, who was called Esau, grew up a rough, hairy man, cunning hunter, and a man of the field. But younger Jacob was the smooth-faced man who lived indoors and did his business in a tent. See, this is where they try to tell you, you from this side, you either come from Jacob or you come from Esau. That's not true. That's not true. You either come from Hagar or you come from Sarah. Point blank, period. Point blank, period. And if you come from Isaac, Who you gonna come from Isaac? You come from Isaac? Because something was wrong with Isaac's DNA. And something was so wrong with his DNA that the people in Canaan didn't want to sleep with him. So Abraham had to go send out for one of his cousins. I'm just saying, that's what the Bible says, huh? And when Jesus keep mentioning this stuff to them, that's why they wanted to kill Jesus. Wait a minute, huh? My God is the God over Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob them. And you talking about who I come from and where we come from, huh? And we different, huh? And you're lying. We lions, and you're lying. Sarah was evil. Lot and all his Abraham's brother, all Abraham's nephews and nieces and cousins was rapists. Esau grew up to be a rough, hairy man, a cunning hunter, and a man of the field. But the younger Jacob was smooth-faced man who lived indoors and did his business about the tents. Esau was his father's favorite child, and Jacob his mother's. When they were both grown up, Esau came from hard days hunting and faint with hunger, and found Jacob in a tent cooking a mess of pottage. He said, "Give me some of that." And Jacob said, "You may have it all if you will sell me your birthright for it." Esau was careless and hungry and said to himself, "What good is my birthright to me?" So he sold it to Jacob for the mess of pottage. Then he ate and rose up and went his way, thinking no more about it. The dish of savory meat. When Isaac was very old and weak and nearly blind and did not know when he might die, he called Esau to his bedside and told him, "Take your bow and arrows and go out after the game and dress me a dish of savory meat such as I love, that I may eat it and bless you before I die." So Esau took his bow and arrows and went out to the field after the game. But Rebekah had heard what Isaac said to him. And as soon as Esau was gone, she said to Jacob, "Do as I tell you. Go." See, cousins, they already cousins. Why they even had to argue and go through that? "Do as I tell you. Go to the flock and fetch me 2 good kids, and I will make them savory meat for your father, such as he loves. And you will take it to him and have the blessing." For Isaac was so blind that he could not tell one person from the other, but by their voice or by touching them. Jacob said, "My brother is hairy and I am smooth. If my father feels me and finds out who I am, I shall get his curse and not his blessing. The curse to be on me, my son," and said Rebekah. "The curse be on me, my son," said Rebekah. "Only do as I tell you and fetch me the kids." So he brought them, and she made a dish of savory meat. Then he took clothes from Esau that she kept in the house and made Jacob put them on, and covered his hands and neck with the rough skins of the kids. Then he was dressed up, and he took the dish to his father, bread and wine, and invited him to sit up and eat. Isaac asked, "Who are you?" And he said, "I am Esau, your firstborn son." "Your firstborn," Isaac said. "How are you back so soon, my son? Come near, that I may feel you, whether you are my very son Esau or not." Then Jacob went up to the bed Jacob went up to the bed, and Isaac felt him and said, the voice of Jacob's voice, but the hands are the hands of Esau. Are you my very son? And Jacob answered, I am. Then he was satisfied and sat up and ate and gave Jacob his blessing. And this was that he would possess the dew of heaven and the fatness of earth and have plenty corn and wine and be Lord over his brethren. Then Jacob went away, and he was hardly gone when Esau came in from hunting with his dish of savory meat and brought it to Isaac and said, rise and eat and bless me. Then Isaac trembled gently and cried, I have given my blessing already, and now I cannot take it back. When Esau heard this, he cried out with a loud, bitter cry, bless me, even so also, O my father. Have you not kept a blessing for me? But Isaac answered, see, I have made him your Lord and given him corn and wine. What shall I do now for you, my son? Esau cried out again, have you but one blessing, O my father? Bless me even also. Then Isaac blessed him also as well as he could. But all that he could give him was a dwelling far from the fatness of earth and dew of heaven, and to live by the sword and serve his brother, yet not forever. So y'all already know that with that story. But the thing is, I don't understand why Esau cried out, because it wasn't really stolen from him in the first place. Esau gave it up anyway. Esau was careless and hungry and said to himself, what good is my birthright to me anyway? But they put this in the story, and that don't have nothing to do with the line of Judah or the ones that was created before those that was created out of the land and from the land. Because once that boat settled, and then Abraham and Lot and his brothers, they were a different kind of people. And even though people read this story and they think, oh, you either a descendant of Esau or you're a descendant of Jacob, that's not true. Esau and Jacob were, product of incest. You're either a descendant of Sarah or you're a descendant of Hagar. And Sarah and Abraham were cousins. Sarah and Abraham was related. And something was wrong. Something was wrong with Isaac. So get your story right, okay? Study to show thyself approved unto God. That you don't need to be ashamed when it comes to rightly dividing this word of truth. And I'll probably again continue with this sometime too. I don't know. I might come back later. I'm enjoying this. I'm really enjoying this. You see, like I really want to read some more because it's now the anger. Why is Esau mad? Huh? Why is Esau mad? Why is he angry? How you gonna be angry? It ain't like they was starving, they had money, they was rich and everything. When he just said, hey, yeah, you can go ahead. What that mean to me? That ain't nothing. You my cousin brother, ain't it? My mama is my cousin and my daddy is my cousin. We keep it all in the family, ain't it? Greater light. Hey there, Alchemos 83. Alchemos 83. Good to see you over here. I'm about to close on out. Ah, dang. I did 2 hours. Oh, and I want to keep on. I really want to keep on, but I got some things to do. I didn't drink that aloe juice. Let's start it with this aloe. And the bathroom is calling. Greater light, I appreciate your presence, Alchemos. Latrell Tinwell, testing, 1, 2, 3. King Ellis, always King Ellis. Greater light. And Mr. Smith, greater light. Do you? I'm gonna play that real Mr. Smith one more time, huh? I'm finna play that real Mr. Smith one more time, huh? One of my favorites of the favorite. One of them, y'all listen. Like I said, it sounds like he putting out a hit, and he is not talking to Drake, J. Cole, and Kendrick. To me, it don't sound like that's who he talking to, but again, I can make something out of nothing. I always can make it about me. Here's to the real Mr. Smith. Huh? Oh, it ain't playing.
In the blank for the nearest house of worship, they pointed to the bank. They built this city on silliness and suffering.
We built this city on rock and roll, ain't it?
Both have wings, but one has tentacles. Pleasure and peace are not identical, but through a certain lens, they seem like twins. Frankenstein fantasized getaway classes. Staring in the void, shouting, filling in the blank for the nearest house of worship. They pointed to the bank. They built this city on silliness and suffering. Sellers are your worst impulsiveness. Yuck. Brother Bay, like Brother Jay said, yuck.
My yoke is easy.
Maintenance and empire, gladiator circus world. Greedy, seedy, and creepy. Horny, and boring. Bougie, goofy, and moody. Foolish, ruthless, and clueless. Variations on a petty big three. A whole lot to look at, but not much to see. Pimps build a war machine. Pay the bill. Small land to steal. Small crops to kill. Yuck, said the devil to the Senate. Send a memo to the minions how the slaves prepare dinner. Souls, burning up some scriptures, smoking on some knickers. Yuck, ain't this ignorance delicious? Said the devil's over dinner, screaming money is religion. They built this city of silliness and suffering. Bestsellers are your worst impulsiveness. Yuck. Murder, berserkers. Yuck.
Most definitely.
Maintenance and empire, gladiator circus world, gossip and calm.